Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, a choosing beggar freeloader won't get a job, won't move out, and is pretty demanding about the type of food that is bought for him. Let's jump right in. In my past, I have tried to help a few people who were down on their luck. I had a 2-bedroom home and I lived alone. I've rented my room to several people until they were able to get on their feet. Most were decent. I should mention, this was always people I know. I was happy to help them and they helped out with rent. This one guy though, geez, he was nothing but a fake, a liar, and a manipulator. I had known his mom for years. She was a precious woman, but she lost her life to cancer. Her boys had grown up and moved on a few years before. For this story, I will be me, and the choosing beggar is the dude I'm talking about. I received and accepted a friend request from her oldest son on Facebook one day. We spent a few minutes catching up and he told me about his life since his mother passed away. He had married and divorced and had a child. He was currently working, hadn't been back home since the funeral, maybe 10 years, but he hoped to get back someday. Over the next several months, I would see his Facebook posts, always positive, always uplifting, encouraging those who were down or on hard times. He volunteered at a shelter, and I was impressed. He had a crab father and his mother worked her butt off to raise her boys right, but she had challenges of her own. One day I read a post of his and he was upset because he had lost his job. Rent was due in 3 days and he would not have unemployment for a few weeks at least. His truck payment was due, child support. He was a laborer and did not have much money, and I felt bad for him. I messaged him and let him know that if I heard of any jobs, I'd let him know about them. Granted, he was in another city 3 hours away, but I have family in that city and if I could help, I wanted to. A week later, he posted that he was sleeping in his truck. He could not make rent, so his roommate kicked him out. He couldn't find a job, and his money was almost out after paying child support. I felt bad for the guy. I knew of a few people hiring in our hometown and told him if he could get here, I'd do my best to help him get a job. He could stay till he was on his feet, and I would not charge him until he started getting a paycheck. 3 hours later, he was at my front door with everything he owned. The first few days, he was exceedingly polite. Then his phone got disconnected, so he was always on my tablet, updating social media, posting inspirational quotes, etc., etc. I set up 3 job interviews for him. He tanked all 3. A month went by. I would come home from work and my house would be clean and he would have dinner made. It was nice, so I tried to be patient. He never collected unemployment. He said he applied, but his ex-boss was against him and delayed him getting the money he deserved. There was always a story. 3 months go by. He is now telling me how I should be taking care of my pets. My animals should be on a strict feeding schedule, not have food left out all the time. It's a cat, for flip's sake. I keep his dish full or he complains. I was not folding the towels properly in the bathroom. I could save so much cupboard space if I just, yeah, you get the picture. Flip off, dude, this is my house. I raised 3 kids in it. I think I know what I'm doing. Then he started writing food on the grocery list, the groceries I was buying. He always had some excuse for not working yet. That job interviewer hated me, another was racist, another didn't like him because he was short, another didn't like him because he obviously knew more than the boss, and the boss felt threatened because of this. I told him I could not continue to support him, that I had done all I can and I would give him until the end of the month, and then he would have to be on his way. Where? I didn't know. At this point, I was getting tired of his crap. He spent hours a day on social media talking about how he was keeping the faith, a job would come through soon. God was great, God was good, God surely had ideas and plans for him. Magically, The next day, he took a part-time job with the husband of a friend. Day 2, husband let him go. The guy took my tablet to work, it had internet, and he would sit in the shade posting on social media while the others worked. He would sit there and tell them better ways to do things. So now he is back to not working and has no money. He mentions to me that we are getting low on groceries and named off a number of items he needed. It was all I could do not to wring his neck. There was still a week and a half left of his time, and well, I did need groceries and things for my lunch, and so off I went, list in hand. I spent over $200, and I get home, he greets me at the door, ever the gentleman, insert eye roll here, and starts carrying in groceries. He is eagerly pawing through the bags looking for the things he had put on the list. Gatorade, Doritos, sour gummy worms, Bud Light Platinum, all things I never buy or consume, and he is getting sadder and sadder when he cannot find them. Then he pulls out the large package of boneless, skinless chicken strips, and all polite behavior goes out the door. You did not buy boneless, skinless chicken breasts! I specifically put down breasts! These were on sale and they were a better buy, so I bought these instead. But I don't like these! They have a vein of fat in them, and I don't eat fat! These are of no use to me. At this point, I totally lost my mind and started to yell at this douchebag choosing beggar. Well, I suggest you get off your butt and go find a job and buy what you want. I have had it. You've been here for 4 months, and aside from cleaning house and cooking a few meals, all you have done is bitch about how I live my life, how I care for my pets, who, by the way, live like flipping kings. I will not buy you another ounce of food. I will not buy you beer, nor will I put my hard-earned money towards your junk food. You live in my house, you eat my food, you hog my tablet and complain when I'm on it, saying you can't look for work if I'm on my own flipping tablet. You don't have to like what I flipping buy or how I live my life, but for the next week and a half, you will shut the flip up. Eat what I bought, or you can go flipping hungry. I no longer give a stuff. You have until the last day of this month to vacate my home, or I will vacate your loser butt for you. I stood there and shouted every single word to him, and he stood there and took it. His mouth was open and his eyes were bugging out, but he took it. And when I was done, I was shaking. I stand corrected, I apologize. I am humbled by your words and I am grateful. He was so full of stuff, talking like this, pretending to be someone he wasn't. Again, I apologize. A week and a half later, true to my word, I made him leave. I realize now he was never any of the things he claimed to be on social media, and was not the young man I knew when his mother was alive. She is probably rolling around in her grave. Her son is lazy, an alcoholic. He was always at the bar begging people for beer. Well, my mom, she died of cancer and I'm so sad. Remember me? I'm her son. Hey, can you buy me a beer? A lot of people, including myself, fell for his poor me routine. I thought I was helping someone out, but all he did was live in my house, try to boss me around, and bitch about the food I provided to him. Good riddance. Story number 2 shows us a choosing beggar accountant who wants a free computer system built because he is really important. This is a story from 20 years ago. Yes, choosing beggars have been around for at least that long. So here's the story. In the mid-90s, I started up a small business selling servers, desktop, laptops, and doing basic office networking, connecting offices to the internet, setting up their email domains and servers, fun stuff. It was just me at the time. Anyway, about 2 to 3 years in, somehow, I make connection with a potential sales lead, the local owner of a small accounting firm. If I had to guess, they maybe had 50 to 100 employees. He had an idea where he wanted to provide an online system for his clients to review confidential documents, taxes and stuff, and I had enough familiarity with web servers still relatively new in the mid-90s, and RSA's Secure ID two-factor authentication suite, that I felt pretty confident I could build the system for him. Doing something with two-factor authentication back in those early days would be really cool, so I was kind of excited about the project. We agreed to meet so that I can dig into the requirements he has in mind. So we meet at his office. Nice enough place, not terribly fancy but not shabby either. You'd be perfectly comfortable letting these folks handle your finances. Choosing Beggar owner and I sit down in the main conference room and I start going through all sorts of questions to gather requirements from him. After about 10 to 15 minutes, I think I have a good enough sense of what he wants. So I told him that since I'm sure he was busy, I didn't need to take up any more of his time, and that I had enough to at least go and build an initial quote and let him know what this will all cost him and what the turnaround time would be. That's when it all began. He spends the next few minutes talking about some National Accountants Association and how he is the president of the association and that he's just absolutely certain that if other accounting firms found out about this, they would want systems like that too. Oh, that's cool, I thought to myself initially. He's offering to help me find even more business. Ha, boy was I kidding myself. That's when the other shoe dropped. Choosing Beggar owner basically says, well, because I'm president of the association and this could get you a lot more business, I wasn't really planning to pay for this system. Or something to that effect. He was more tactful than I'm rephrasing it, but his intention was clear. So let's review. Choosing Beggar owner wanted me to buy servers, storage, networking gear, etc. out of my own pocket and basically give that all to him, along with my time to integrate all the components to build this two-factor authentication secure financial documents system, and just give it all to him for exposure. I was hungry for business, and honestly, if he had at least offered to pay for the gear so that I wasn't out of pocket any money, I might have considered it because it really would have been a cool project in the mid-90s. But once it became clear he didn't even want to pay for the gear, I simply let him know that clearly we've had a significant misunderstanding of each other in our conversations to date, and that I didn't need to waste any more of his time, and that I won't be sending a quote since he obviously didn't want one. I couldn't believe he wasted my time like that. This has been John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.